Alright, hey, hi, hello. How's it going, guys? My name is ZetaRayZod, and welcome back to more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, before I begin, be sure to like, subscribe, and cut that bell on so you stay up to date on all my latest videos. So, last we left off, what happened? Okay, last we left off, we found out what the little box actually represents, which turns out is actually the music box. So it could play this disc, but it was just one note, and we find out when we looked at it that it was actually the comb was made as such where it would only display one note. So it's just a very monotonous, like, single note, right? It doesn't change, and that's because the comb was in the same length, so it wouldn't make a different sound. So we deduced that it was actually Morse code, and why it was Morse code is because of this. Today's newspaper, which says government secrets being leaked to foreign agencies. So our deduction is that this thing is actually a Morse code of government secrets. Ooh, conspiracy, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna have to prove it, so we're just gonna keep pressing. Little Claus Brickmaker negotiating with Graydon anyway, was it not? Okay. Let's press it. So, 2 months ago in that omnibus, McGilded killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Mr. Mason was a single man of almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him. Doesn't make much sense though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? How indeed. There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes of all of this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason. In order to take it to the meeting with McGilded and negotiate a deal. Dear B. So dramatic. You may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that. An old brickmaker from an artisan quarter and this well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together. If you have nothing more to add on that note, let us return to the witness testimony. Oh wait, hold on. I just want to go back a little bit. Yeah, go back. I want to go back to this part. I'm gonna press him again. Because if you recall, I could press him, but when I was given the option to prove it, I kind of pressed the bottom of the music box, but I didn't like open it. So in case you've forgotten, or you haven't watched my previous episode, why don't you go watch it? But no, on the back of on the bottom of the music box is another music box. So it actually plays a different tone, but it's also a single tone only. So the assumption is that you need another disc for it to play like a proper Morse code, like what she's doing right now. Yep. Okay, come on, I can prove it, Give me a chance, Alright. Such a casual slap. Ew. Come on. Give it a try. Okay. Yep. Come on. Okay. Open the back. There we go. Oh shit, how do we open it? Open it. Come on. Yep, I've seen this whole thing already before. So if you want me to slow down or something like that, you can just watch my previous episode. Yep. I don't get why they just saved it for me when I found it in the first place. Okay. There we go. Present. Kokura. Good gracious. What am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box? What? It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put two discs in this music box. and the sounds of both will play back at the same time. Good heavens! As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of 2 tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box can be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. Shock. Oh, he seems pretty upset about it. So I got it right. I hit it on the head. I hit the nail on the head. This is beyond a joke. Sorry. This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though, of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court the second disc, that would be another matter. Well, I can't at the moment. And may I remind the court that, as the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus who had killed it 2 months ago, striking a deal of the disc or discs. Indeed, that was Mr. Mason, the brick maker. Exactly, I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. Hold on. Oh, yeah, this one, right? McGill's case notes. Middleton, brickmaker, East End of London. Short 3 eyewitness testimonies, surprise 4th witness resulting in acquittal due to insufficient evidence. Damn it. There's no proof. How are they connected? Do I have the guys? No. Alright. Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue. Link between Graydon and the victim of the omnibus case must be there somewhere. But I haven't found it yet. Oh dear. It looks like you need to give your argument more strength, Bruno. You will reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Graydon. If I must, though I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination. Okay, buddy. Some low-class brickmaker negotiating no relation to that. Okay. Look, all the way down is breaking. Okay, let's talk to this guy. Like Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean? Oh, that's it, yeah. Who else? Silly me thought he was just popping out for nada for all the years, but the broader had a dodgy job for us. After all these years? Does he know the guy? Hey, Ash? Wait, do they know each other? Wait, let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years, you say? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? Oh, we sociable kind of baddies, you know? Sure, let's say Graydon's an old China. An old China? What's that got to do? Why are you upset about that? Something wrong, Mr. Skulkin? Eh? No, the other Mr. Skulkin. Oh, who, me? When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react. Hey, I was just remembering the old days. Just that's all. We used to have a right old laugh together way back when. Together with Mr. Graydon, you mean? Oh yeah, with Ash. I mean, you look at him now and his fancy whistle and flute, and you wouldn't add him an even. But when he was younger, he was from the poor part of town, just like us. Is that so? But he was always a leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have gone through our heads. Like what would never gone through our heads. God blimey, ain't that the truth? Remember Middleton Skulkins? Mr. Middleton. Well, what did the guy look like? He had... The guy was blonde too. Is this his son? There was a corker, eh? Wait, his name's Middleton? Save it until after the trial. You reminiscing has no place in this courtroom. And neither does your fruit. Oi, Takizi asked us a question, didn't he? And he was answering. Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong. Wait, Milverton, bring it back! Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please? I don't know. Could that sensible story be relevant somehow? Yes, as the testimony. My lord. Yes, counsel? Brother's last sentimental statement could hold vital information relating to this case. Very well, counsel. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony in that detail. Briefly, I hasten to add. Say no more, Skulkins never skulkin. Militant Skulkin, press. I'm sure I'm gonna regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business? Just a little scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. Bit of fun, really. Delivering fresh milk to the locals, that's what it was all about. That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch. I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate. But on what? The business name. So this business was just a bit of fun, you say? And it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved. Oh yeah, that's it. Milverton and Skulkin's milk run, was it? Oh yeah, that's it. And where did the Milverton part come from? Oh right, I thought a clever clogs like you would have worked that one out. That's just... Enough of this. How much longer are we expected to listen to his drivel? I don't... Oh, he's cutting him off. He knows. Let me guess. You don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying. Tell me, why is it that it was only at the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? But because well... It wasn't the happiest of homes that one came from. Oh yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much. His wife walked out on him. She took the name Graydon then, see? But Ash will always be Milverton to us. Milverton. So that used to be your surname, did it? Of course not. That is all bunkum. I've been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves, You're a communications officer attached to civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon. Well, it would appear that Mr. and Mrs. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable, for once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct? Very well, yes. So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That's the connection! That information could change and could turn out to be extremely important. Yes, it is. How do I call him out on this? All of a sudden, we seem to be up to our necks in a serious matter of national security. Although, all this talk about interception of secret government messages is still just conjecture at this stage. It would explain a number of things though, wouldn't it? Negotiation Genie occurred on the omnibus 2 months ago, and the break-in at Winniebags. But the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Graydon in the omnibus and Mr. McGilden. No, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker who was so horribly murdered. Dude, freaking lucky, man. I thought if I looked at Susato-san's notes, it could tell me something, and it freaking did! Mason Milverton, that's his name. If only there was some link between the two men somehow. We know it, I know, but Mr. Graydon's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the key to us making headway with the cross-examination here could be those two brothers. Present. Is it this? I think it is. Yep. Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name. Explain yourself, please, counsel. I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man who we now understand to have been negotiating with McGilden, yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton. Milverton? Do you mean to say? Saint alive! Mr. Ashley Milverton. Is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? Oh, no!
No, I am your father.
I don't. As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you join the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. Truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information, selling it on to McGildet in collaboration with your father. Whoa, what a twist. Literally, contourled. The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings of Magnus McGildet. By dint of this music box, you mean, counsel? Yes, stealing information being sent in secret government communications and selling it on to McGildet. Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information, as presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands. And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given that scheme any credence whatsoever. But the deal with McGildet went sour, and the brickmaker met his end. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGildet managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, he appeared at Windybank's 2 days ago, in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGildet had placed in pawn there. But that attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by police, and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbroker. This time, determined to recover the second disc. Oh, are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box? Aye? We never knew nothing about that. On the night when Mr. Windybank was killed, the intruder to the pawnbroker touched one item and one item alone, the music box. As rather ingeniously demonstrated using the 2 prints from the security camera, indeed. So, the question that naturally begs answering is this: why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Since if it were to fall into the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all of this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Sir, don't be a fool. There appears to be a blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket. What? Ugh. 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime at Windybank's pawnbrokery. 1 took the life of the pawnbroker himself. 1 struck the pouch around Mr. Scholl's waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it? Suspicious, give it up, bro. He's got you now, me old China. Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon. Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those are my terms, remember? I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly, I was a fool to think I could trust some common backslum thieves. Is he admitting? Fine, I admit it. I was there in Windybank's that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you've noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. Oh shit. Oh shit! But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets and negotiating Mr. McGildet? How's he still moving it when he's still hurt? As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. So did you kill him or not? He's like, yeah, I broke in. We're not gonna talk about the murder. I didn't do this. It's not gonna go down without a fight. Not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact. Which is... Well, we know that one bullet was fired from each of the two firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Skulkin brothers hit the pouch around Mr. Scholl's waist. And the bullet from Mr. Winniebank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm. Indeed, it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself. And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Winniebank was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired by the third intruder. Goodness! That's true. That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Winniebank that night is you. Mata! What now? Mata! Is he laughing? You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here. What? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbrokers. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I built for myself at the communications station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility? What do you mean? What thought? What possibility? Huh? Possibility that if I were there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see, this makes me a key witness in this case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client. What? Are you suggesting? I saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed the gun at that poor defenseless pawnbroker and shot him. That's not possible. That's literally impossible. Because we know he got shot in the back and his back was facing the door. She was at the side. And she didn't have the gun, so how would she shoot him? Order? Order? Well, it would seem we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial. Mr. Graydon. Yes? I trust you're fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as a killer. Oh, I understand fully. Then I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You will explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim. Nothing would give me greater pleasure. Let's break this guy down. Let's kill this fool. Moment of shooting. Let's see. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When Winniebank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door. Though. The accused in a black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood spatter all over that wretched girl. Then she tossed the gun out with the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. Why would she do that? Good gracious, this is quite extraordinary testimony. You claim, sir, under oath, to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. I already saw one hole in it. Order? Order? I already saw one hole. Let me see. Do I have pictures? I don't have pictures. Shit. Okay. It's my intention to testify in this way. But neither is it my intention to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. The truth? Until now, the prosecution is completely unaware of these details. Yeah, well, sorry about that. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And, as I said, she was showered in his blood. You say the blood spattered over the accused's coat. Are you sure in that point? Yes, quite true. All over the black overcoat that pickpocket girls wearing at the time. Really? If her coat could somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would... Oh, we don't have it? There was blood on Gina's coat. Oh, damn it. Why wasn't it put in this? God damn it. I remember when she was in jail, we did check and there was blood on her, but we weren't sure what color it was. Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. What? Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. So here's to true science, not some amateur detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry. There's nothing dubious about Hurley's work. His ideas are all sound. Ideas are no use to us here. In science, as in law, theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has a small quantity of the chemical reagent used. With your lordship's permission, we could shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes. This doesn't look good, Reno. Why not? Why not? Well, we know, don't we, that there's blood all over the front of Ginny's coat. If they tested it with their chemicals... Oh, help, you're right. I was forgetting what happened yesterday. Yeah, we did check. Don't move, Ginny. I'm gonna shoot. What color was it again? It was purple. That's not Mr. Winterbank's blood. Yeah, that stains from 2 months ago. Okay. That's Mr. Mason's blood from when he was stabbed by McGilded, who was wearing the coat at the time. My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution. Overruled. Lord Van Zees, make it so at once. With pleasure, my lord. And while we await the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Once they find that blood on the overcoat, Gino will be... Counsel? Yeah, yes, my lord. Your cross-examination. Of course, my lord. This cross-examination doesn't go well. If I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence or a really compelling clue now, I have a very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. Here we go. Mode of shooting, yep, let's do this. While these ruffians were jostling the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. Mr. Winterbank emerged from the storeroom, I believe. Ringo and Mash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. I've never been so scared in all my life. Oh yeah, we just steer regular mild-mannered burglars, that's all. We don't like violence. Shot a guy. It's just a pair who carry a gun. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in a doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, of course. The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1, so I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong. I was trying to help me little bro, but the old geezer chucks me over the blooming counter. So I pulled the gun on the old fella, and that soon made him scarper. Have you settling upon the poor defenseless pawnbroker together? Shame on you. Yeah, sorry, Governor. You mean that's the moment you were shot? Yes, though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the 3 men were brawling. It was at exactly that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. And the bullet went on to strike the calendar and the wall behind him. So it appeared. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what had happened to the doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Did Mr. Winbank intend to shoot you, do you think? Well now, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, it didn't quite strike home. Oh Well, when I pulled the gun on him, he tried to shove me out of the way. And then he scampered through the door back. At which point, what did you do? Listen to the people. You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storm door is a solid job, made out of stout wood. So couldn't you have shot him through the peephole? But there's a small opening in it about head height that lets you see what's in there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? Yeah, I looked through it myself that night. Yeah, there's no blood on her. And what about you burgling brothers? Do you see what went on through the peephole as well? No, not likely, Gav. Didn't see nothing of the sort, Gav. I doubt these two buffoons were even aware of the people's existence. So the skulking brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Winbank take place. Inside the storm, I could see the broker and the young girl standing there. The defendant? Yes, though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed straight at the man. And then, what did you see next? This is not possible already. I'm just gonna point that out. So, yeah, when the criminals discovered the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Winningbank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. And as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. No. It wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Winningbank's gun grazed my arm, and yes, the Skulkin's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely. A third gun. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon, so clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time. That doesn't make sense either. But no other gun was found at the scene. I'm gonna say that right now because of this. Because of this. That's Mr. Winningbank's gun. If she in fact had her own gun, why would she walk in without her gun at the ready and only picked up his gun then aimed it at him? It didn't make sense, you know? Like, if you had a gun and you know he has a gun, wouldn't you go in with your gun drawn already? You know? Oh my god, Benzie, dumbass. Calm yourself, counsel. Sorry. You must consider the events in order. At first, I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, but then, all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. And it was at that moment that the little gunner rat shot him in the back. A chilling image, I must say. That doesn't make sense, but okay. All over her. Yes, through the people. Saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now. What would this coat be such a dark color? But I assure you, that garment's sullied with the victim's blood. Well, it is sullied with blood, that's for sure. But it's not Mr. Winbank's blood, is it? No, that's right. It's Mr. Mason Milverton's blood from when McGilden stabbed him 2 months ago. So annoying. They'd only accept Hurley's chemical analysis if we could prove that. But they won't. So unfortunately, we can't use it as evidence to support our case. Bother. Why don't you toss it out the people if you're there, dumbass? Did I hear correctly? She threw the gun out of the room? That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the people onto the floor on my side of the door. But why on earth would she do such a thing? I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there, in case any more tragedies took place. How bullshit is this? So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime? This is complete bullshit. Like, we know he's a suspicious individual already, and he's always been saying, like, he himself has been saying, like, why would you trust a thief? The testimony of a thief. Look at this guy. Ah, I'm so angry. I'd love to clear up to my lackeys on the left. Clear up? We made a bit of a mess here at the counter, so Mr. Whistle and Flute here told us to tidy up. He thinks he's our blooming mama sometimes. Well, I was paying you enough, my god. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbroker that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket? You're like the fool at a gate. What's going on? Gentlemen. Something wrong, sunshine? That should be my line. You do realize you're just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin. Ah, blimey, this thing's a bit of a hooligan, ain't he? What was going on just now? Ah, you saw him. He grabbed me whistling. What a blazes, he said. Didn't you mention the third gun when he got you down at the station? And why didn't you? Because we didn't know nothing about it. All that flaming people in the door. I'm sorry about that. I can be prone to lose my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you? Poor blimey, see the way he's looking at me. I'm telling you, this tease gives me the willies. That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He would normally grab someone. No, that wasn't like Grexy at all. He's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him. Yeah, well, I think he might be a special case, Iris. Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character. My lord? Oh, boy. Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Explain yourself, officer. I have the results of the test that was ordered earlier, my lord. The blood on the accused's overcoat. Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel? No, my lord. Not right now. Well, there you have it. A report, please, Inspector. Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of spattering following a gunshot wound. End of report. Goodness me. Oh, wow. What a beautiful pirouette. See? What did I tell you? No. The blood on that coat is not Mr. Winniebanks. What on earth makes you say that, counsel? The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilbert. Just before his coat was deposited at Winniebanks, McGilbert had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Overton. So the blood on that overcoat is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus case. Well, the dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, my Nibbity's friend? Sorry. 2 months ago, in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for McGilbert's innocence? Yet, now that the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer? Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. But that was... I call it a bally disgrace. Trust you, that's what it was. That's what it is. How to determine whether the blood in a coat is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help me answer that problem pop out. Can't be done. But we used Mr. Shum's specially formulated chemicals. Mr. Shum's is a detective, not a chemist. Would you put such faith in a chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer? I held up Piroshki to starving boy, and he ran away crying. Sherlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom. No weight at all. How could you say that? Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish. How do you arrive at such conclusions, sir? As the witness said, the accused's coat was spattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could possibly have known that fact is if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid, and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth. My lord, who's that? Been a long battle this one, but this old warhorse has something to say now, if you please. He's gonna vote guilty, isn't he? Mr. Foreman? As of this morning, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men. All for one.
You say.
You say.
You say. You say.
You say.
You say.
That's disappointing. Well, it would appear the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached a unanimous verdict. The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Here's to any attempt he may make at unpicking the jury's decision being equally successful. I don't believe it. After I've come so far, how is it all unraveling on me so fast? How very distressing. To be held in such low esteem. Who's this? Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? What? Who the hell are you? Officer? You've delivered the report now. That will be all, thank you. It occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Naruhodo, that scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. I guess I have a feeling I know who this is. I know that voice. Am I going mad? Haha! Mr. Schultz! What is the meaning of this? Order? Order? What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard, you were recuperating in a hospital. As well I would be, had I not been set up upon an errand. What errand? Hurley, it's really you! You're awake at last. Yes, good day, Iris. Appears to be rather late to rise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humor me. In what manner, sir? I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us that time? What say you to this, Lord Vanzeeks? This trial has taken many hours of the court's time, having spent so long already. Exactly, having spent so long already, we don't want to go wasting any more precious time. As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes. Nani? Very well then, counsel. You have 5 minutes. Ooh, hey buddy. My dear fellow, I apologize for your tardy arrival. Great. I think that's a good place to leave it off. I think Sholmes has come with some important information from us. I am curious to see what's going to happen. I have a feeling that the next episode is going to be the last episode of the Great Ace Attorney, this part. The sequel, I might take a break from it for a little bit. Focus on other games for a moment, and then I'll come back to it. I'm definitely coming back to it. I just, once this is done, I think I want to focus on other games first. But you know what? We'll see what happens, right? So if you like what you see and you like what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell on so you stay up to date on all my latest videos. As always, be safe, take care, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace!